I'm going to be talking about two things that drivers want from you, the learner, and actually what you want to the other drivers as well. The two things that other drivers want from you is excellent position, and then they want your speed to be good, right? These are what the other drivers want from you. They don't really care about what's going on in the car with your gears if you're driving another car. If you've completely and utterly fluffed your gear and you're in totally the wrong gear and you're going around the corner in the wrong gear, or you're going around the corner with your clutch down, the other cars don't know and they don't care. But they do care about your position because they are driving one of the most expensive things that they own, or the most expensive thing that they own if they don't own their house. Okay, it's their pride and joy. It's their most expensive asset. They are going to want your position to be right. And I know that learners want other people's position to be right. I've been driving in the car with a learner, and if somebody who's got their driving license is driving incorrectly with bad position, my students will say something. Oh, his position is horrible. And the reason why they say that is because they don't feel safe. You can see sometimes people have got bad position because they've just got bad position. They don't understand the clearance of their car or something. And it's scary, right? So we have a discussion about it in the car. Or if you can clearly see that somebody is looking for something or on their phone, their position wavers, and then the student and me will be affected by the person's position, yeah? And vice versa. If my student's position is bad, we are going to feel the wrath of the people on the road. If our position is not good, we are in danger straight away, and it's very likely that we're going to get told off about it. All right, because people's asset is in danger. We're going to potentially hit them or them hit us. So we're going to get the most amount of grief if our position is wrong. So things that I'm just immediately thinking about with position: we mustn't swan neck to enter roads. It's very important. As a car user, we shouldn't be swan necking unless there is absolutely no one around and you are totally and utterly aware that you can swan neck. Maybe into a very tight driveway, maybe if you can see that no one's around, perhaps. But as standard, swan necking, no, that is just not safe. So if you're coming up and you're driving down a road and you've got a sharp left turn to do, you stay on your side of the road but select a lower gear to take that turn. I've made a video about it. Maybe I'll link it up in one of the corners, wherever it is. But you mustn't swan neck. If you're going to turn left, a very sharp left, you mustn't go over to the right first and then turn in, because the person behind you is going to be keen to overtake you probably. Probably, yeah. And then if you're turning right, yeah, we mustn't swan neck to the left before turning right, because people may be undertaking you at this stage. If we do anything wrong with our position in a swan neck, we're going to get told off rather heavily. Watch the nicest person on the road turn into a demon about this. They're going to be on their horn, they're going to be shouting at you, they are going to call you all sorts of names because you've put their asset, their really expensive asset, at risk. They're going to tell you off. And that's the least of your worries. If you swan neck at the wrong time, you could hit them, right? And it's too late. We need our position to be amazing. Other times that position could obviously go wrong is if you're turning a corner far too quickly. Yeah, you've got your speed wrong, or you're not looking in the right place. Say, for instance, you're turning left and you haven't swan necked, you've just turned left, but you're going way too fast, or you're looking in the wrong place. You're going to go wide. The oncoming person is going to be absolutely petrified because you're on the wrong side of the road. We need to make sure that our speed is correct for taking sharp turns, or our speed is correct for taking normal turns, or that we're observing down the road and we're looking further ahead so we can have an organic understanding of where we're going. We're looking down the road. Whatever you do when you're turning left and right, utilise the left and the right window. Don't just look out the front. That's too tunnel vision. When you're turning left, mirrors signal, utilise the windows on the left as well as your front one if you're turning left. If you're turning right, mirrors to the right, signals to the right, utilise the mirrors on the right the windows on the right, so you can see through and you know where your point of turn is. Did I say mirrors when I meant mirrors? Windows over there. Position will also come out when you've got parked cars on the left. Property is more important than the paint on the floor. We mustn't stay within the lines. I've made another video, maybe I'll link it up here, about position, going around cars. You know, property is more important than a white line painted on the floor. If no one's coming towards you and you've got a parked car on a normal flowing road, a two-way road, yeah, you drive that way, other people are coming that way, parked car, you need to go over or on top of the white line, if it's safe to do so, to overtake the parked car. If we stay within lines, we may graze the car as we go down, or take the mirror off. So if you've got a flowing two-way road, we need to give maybe a metre of space to the car in case the door opens. If we need to be closer than that, we need to be way slower, less space, less speed. The other day I had a student and she wanted to go over the speed bump perfectly, which is lovely. In a normal circumstance, that's great. We shouldn't be going through the middle of the road to go over a speed bump. I've made a video about that. Perhaps I'll link it up here as well. It's important that we don't go over the middle of a speed bump. It's important that we go over it properly. However, if there's a parked car, now we go over it in a weird way. So my student was trying to go over it in a normal way. So we were on our side of the road. That's impossible. There's a parked car there. We're going to go into the parked car. Yeah. So position is really, really, really important. Other people are expecting the learner to have good position. Let's just say you're doing a roundabout. You mustn't cross the lines. You're going to have an accident if you cross those lines, or you're certainly going to get told off or shouted at or be abused by other people, and vice versa. If somebody else moves across lanes or has bad position in roundabouts, you're going to be upset. Even though you're a learner, you're going to be upset because it's going to make you feel scared. It's going to make you feel frightened that you're going to have an accident. And you might, because people are changing their position. Even if you're using a roundabout that doesn't have lines, if you're going straight on and the design is normal and you're doing the 12 o'clock theory and you need to be to the left to go straight on, you must keep to the left if the roundabout is big, because somebody on your right may want to come into the roundabout and turn right. So it's imperative that you keep to the left if it's safe to do so. You must keep to the left. If you straight line the roundabout, which means you've kept to the left to begin with and then just driven straight across, you're going to potentially squish the person on the right, resulting in the same thing. Anger, beeping the horn, shouting, abusing, crash, broken car. Your position is the most important thing that everybody expects from you. If you're in the car and you've totally got your gear wrong, I hope you don't. I hope that by the time you go to your driving test that your gears are all fine and everything. But let's just say there's some kind of mistake. The people outside the car don't care if you're coasting. They don't care if you're stalling. They don't care if you're in fifth instead of third or first. They don't care. They literally just have no care about what's going on in the car. They care about your position. So important. So have a good understanding of where you are on the road. Make sure that you're looking far ahead. Don't look in your mirrors whilst you're driving to understand your position. That's the past. That's the past. That's already happened. If you're driving down the road and you're like, how far am I from the curb? And you look in the mirror, that's the past. You're literally looking at what's happened in the past. If you looked in the mirror and went, oh, I'm wide, I better steer to the left, you're going to crash into a parked car or the curb. That's the past. You've already done that. That's the past. You need to look ahead of you. If you want to have a reference point of where the curb is when you park, choose one inside the car, which I've also made a video. Maybe I'll link it up there. Choose a reference point inside the car so you know where the curb would be in relation to your car inside the car, and look forward when you're driving. If you're going through really tiny little, teeny tiny little places and you're actually scared that your mirror's going to hit something, like officially hit something as an item, as you're going really slow, that's when you would check the mirrors, not to look at the reflection. It's to look to see if your mirrors are going to hit something on the left and the right. When you're looking at the reflection of the mirrors, you're looking to see if there's undertaking vehicles. You're looking to see if there's overtaking vehicles. That isn't a positional place to look. It's not for position. When you've parked the car on the left with all the reference points at the front of the car, which I've made a video about and I've probably linked it already, hopefully, then when you have stopped, then you can check the mirror on the left to see how did you get on. Did my first reference point do any good? And now I've stopped, now I can look in the mirror. You don't want to be doing that when you're driving, unless you're going exceptionally slowly. If you're looking in the mirror and you're like, oh, I'm still really far away from the curb, I'll just bring that in. You're just going to hit the front wheel on the curb because you're not looking at what's in front of you. That's the past. I've had people burst the wheel over the 22 years to do that. They're like coming in like that, pulling it to the left. They check the mirror and go like that, and then we've hurt the wheel. We've grazed the alloy, or we've damaged the tyre, or we've actually burst the wheel. It's happened twice in 22 years because my students have pulled into the left. One, when we were coming down the road and somebody was coming towards us, my student looked at the car and literally just pulled to the left because he was scared. We burst the wheel on the curb. Another student, when we were actually parking, pulled into the left, looked at the mirror and just pulled into the left, hit the wheel and burst it. So it's, you know, it will just cut the wheel into pieces, you know. So, and worse things can happen. You can buckle the wheel. Yeah, you can burst the tyre, but you could buckle the wheel. You could even break the suspension, right? So when you're coming into park, go slower. Check your reference points at the front of the car, yeah? And just bring it in. And then when you've stopped or you're painfully close to stopping, maybe then check the mirror. But when you're driving down the road, you need to be looking ahead at the future or the present moment. How am I getting on here now? Where am I now? By looking forward, where am I now? Yeah. Other drivers want your position to be amazing. Parked cars want your position to be amazing, even though they've left the car there. They are literally praying when they leave the car there that people are going to be good with their position. They're going to leave it there in the place that they're allowed to leave it, and they're just hopeful. They might put their mirror in overnight because they're thinking, if I've got somebody who's not very good with position, that will give them a few more inches. But basically, you're just hopeful that when you come back to your car the next day, that they haven't crashed into it, because they're hoping that people have got good position. When you're coming through a situation with meeting traffic, if you look at the car that's moving towards you too much, learners have a horrible tendency of looking at those people and pulling to the left to get out of their way because they're being all nice and kind, and they go straight towards the curb or they go straight towards the parked cars, and the instructor has to push them away because they need to look at the available space. Guys, going through squeezy little gaps with parked cars on the left, oncoming people, if you're going to squeeze through a gap, that is not something that the examiner is interested in seeing. Leave the squeezing to the oranges, all right? Squeezing in a car is not what we need to do at speed. If you're going to go through a painfully small bit of road with parked cars on the left or whatever it is, and people coming towards you, the examiner is not interested in you trying to squeeze through that gap. That's a positional fault, okay? That is not what he's looking for. He's looking for more skill, more judgment. I know I can't fit through this gap at speed. I'm going to stop and I'm going to let the people come through, right? A squeeze is for the oranges, yeah? Let me just try and find my report form, right? If a gap is extremely small, I really wouldn't bother with it, guys, because parked car is at risk and the people who are driving towards you do not want you to do that. Positioning. Here, see? All of this is on your report form, okay? Positional faults, normal driving, lane discipline, and position normal stops on the left. See them? So that's basically what we're talking about. Positioning, normal driving. We need to be in a good position when we're turning, yeah? Or driving normally, yeah? Normal driving, turning left, normal driving, turning right, no swan necking. Lane discipline, positioning, lane discipline, not crossing the lines. Positioning, normal stops, not too far away from the curb, not too close to the curb. Yeah? Now, speed is also something that other drivers are looking for and the learner is looking for. If my learner gets behind somebody, maybe a flat cap, I call them flat caps, old men, yeah, really old men, flat cabs, that's my terminology. Little flat cap. So if we're behind a little flat cap, right, and he's really, really slow, my students are like, why is he going so slow? My partner the other day said that he was following a learner, and then a little bit later he was following an old person. And he said he preferred being behind the learner, yeah, because the old person was just really slow, stopping at everything, like signalling incorrectly. Yeah, like, it was quite a funny conversation. But speed can also be a problem if somebody is behind you and you're going really slow. The person behind you is going to get annoyed with you, right? Because you're driving far too slowly. The person behind may be late for work. The person behind may be going to get fired. They need to get to work. They need to get to their appointment. Yeah, so if you're going unnecessarily slow, not only are you going to fail for that, but also you're going to have the wrath of the person behind. However, if you are going too fast, the person behind who's got another person in the car may be like, why is that learner going so fast when it's so dangerous in front of them? What is going on? They are going to have an accident, right? So it can go the other way as well. If you're going far too quickly, everyone's going to be looking at you going, whoa, learner, what? So it's getting the balance right. Lots and lots of practice to understand the speed, yeah? The person behind, yeah, they may be upset if you're going too slow, but they may be very shocked if you're going too fast. Learner, I know that if you've been in a car and somebody has rushed towards you in a meeting traffic situation and gone really fast, and you can feel the car go like that with the speed that they pass you, I know that you hate that. I know that you turn around to me and say, that guy's going way too fast. Why would you do that? There's pedestrians everywhere. This is not a safe place. I hear it all the time. So you don't like it when people go too fast. Look, it's idiotic. It's idiotic. Nobody likes people going really fast. It is not cool. Like, I don't understand why people think that going really fast and using their accelerator looks cool. Like, I can't get it through my head. It's just really, everybody looks at you and just thinks that you're a total idiot. It's just not for me at all. And if you're going too fast to try and get away from the person behind, they may be like, if they're a really like kind, nice person, they may be like, what's that learner doing? They're going to crash with that speed. They're totally getting it wrong. So it might be the other way around, yeah? If you're in front, if you see somebody in front and they're going slower, you're probably going to be like, why is this person so slow? But you're also going to slag off people who are going too fast. So it's a balance. It's getting the balance right. The two things that drivers want is position. People want your position to be excellent, because if they have their car crashed into, they are going to be very, very upset. If your position is bad and you nearly hit them or you off, you're going to hear their horn. You're going to hear them shouting at you because they're frightened. They're just in fear. Fear makes people shout. Fear makes people use their horn. Yeah, the kindest person will turn into a gremlin because they're frightened about their beautiful car being hit. You know, it doesn't matter who's driving the car if their asset's going to be damaged. Yeah, and if you're driving too slow, yeah, and you're behind somebody, if somebody in front of you is driving too slow and you're late, you're going to be upset with them. But if they're going too fast, you're going to be upset with them as well. It's just all balance, yeah. So very, very important that your position is amazing for the safety of your car and other people's and pedestrians and bikes. Position from bikes, you know. Need to be really, really careful of a vulnerable bike or a scooter who probably isn't wearing any safety equipment, right? One of my students fell off one of those, bust up face, came to a lesson, huge black eye. Those things are dangerous, man. Don't like it. But guys, we need to protect people, yeah? Even if you think they're being idiotic, we need to protect people. It's really, really important. Position, speed. Really, really, almost subconsciously, people want that from you and you want it from them as well. I've not met a learner who's not been upset with somebody's position or been upset with somebody's speed. So even though we haven't even got our licenses yet, you still don't like it, you know? All right, guys, I really hope this information helps you today. Position, position, position. Even if you've got something desperately wrong in the car with your gears, if you're driving a geared car or you're coasting, position is the most important thing, okay? Really, really important. All right, guys, I really hope this helps you today, and I'll see you on the next one.